Welcome back. Today I want to show you how I brew kombucha tea. So while we're waiting for our water to boil, we can go ahead and flavor our teas. Now this is a handy little device. It's called a muddler, and it's for making cocktails. And it's a really long-handled one, so I can put the fruit in there and just smash it up so it releases all of its yumminess. So strawberries in, black peppercorns in. I'm not going to crush them because I don't want them to be too hot. And my rhubarb, I'm just going to give kind of a rough chop. Place that in there. Gonna crunch up the rhubarb a little bit. I'm gonna call that good. Now the second ferment, the one thing that you want to be mindful of is to fill your jars up. Now I may or may not have enough kombucha to fill both of these. For the second ferment, you want to just make sure that this is an anaerobic environment, so you want that fizz to build up, so it needs to be sealed tightly. Oh, I forgot my mint flowers. I'm going to take these guys and stuff them in. Now I have lavender growing in my garden, and I use lavender a lot. I also use basil quite a bit. All of those herbs are really nice with fruit. My water is boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and just get this steeping. If you've stolen one of these from your husband's garage, just hide it in your kitchen. So I'm just going to take this and crush it. Now I don't care if the nut pieces get in there, because we're going to strain this anyway. So put your apricot kernel in. I use like 6 or 7 cherries. Now this is a lot of fruit for such a small batch, but it just makes it yummier. You really don't need that much fruit. And then our blackberries, and we'll just smush this all down. Last week I made a raspberry blackcurrant from the garden, and it was so good. Now you're going to see these little brown floaty things in here. Those are just little yeasties. That's what we want. We want 2 jars that are basically filled up to the top. Yeah, Saccharomyces is the strain of yeast. This is not a ball jar. Well, we're going to have an imperfect situation here, because this is some other sort of jar that I don't have a lid to. We'll have to forego our bubbly fizz on the second ferment and then get it in the bottles. So once you strain it and bottle it, you can leave it for a week or so, and it will build up fizz because of the residual sugars that are in here. So it's not critical, but it is nice if you can pull off the right size jars for the job. So here's this guy. Now I've learned the hard way with pouring hot tea in an untempered jar. You don't want to do it, it will break the glass. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this up about halfway with cold water, and then we'll pour the tea concentrate in the top, add the sugar, and just stir it until the sugar dissolves. Now you want to leave enough room that you can absorb this amount of liquid. I filled this a little bit higher. I'm just going to take whatever's left from here and pour it into my second batch. It's kind of a cheater, but you want to keep some liquid in here. A cup is ideal. I end up going more like 3/4 of a liter, just because it helps facilitate the fermentation. But it's just a matter of days, so either way works. Add our sugar. If it tastes sweet at any time during its fermentation, just let it go another few days, and then it will get really acidic and not really be sweet at all. Okay, our sugar is largely dissolved. So this is a little bit hot. It's 98 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and add an ice cube. Big ice balls. Put those in there. Oh. All right, take two. I should have probably rolled with that other one, but I was not really in the mood to deal with this. So this is why I hate Fido jars. I think these are the crappiest jars in the world. People use them all the time for ferments. That wasn't even hot, and it couldn't take it. It blew out the same place that this exact same jar blew out same kind of jar blew out last time I made kombucha. So, not a fan of Fido. I've got this really big, thick apothecary jar this time, and this one will be fine. So, again, we've got our tea, concentrate. I'm going to go ahead and just pour it into my jar of cooled water. And people recommend a cup of sugar for a gallon of tea. I don't like mine that sweet, and even after like 2 or 3 weeks of fermenting, it's still too sweet for me because I really don't like sweet drinks. So I have found that 3/4 cup of sugar is plenty for your SCOBY. It will produce a nice healthy SCOBY and maintain it, and it produces babies. And you can cut your fermentation time down just a little bit so your kombucha isn't quite as acidic. Some people do have problems with kombucha and acidosis, so if you drink too much of it, but I've never had a problem. Okay, so this is exactly the same, 98 degrees. I'm gonna add a couple ice cubes and hopefully get this down to 90. That's as hot as you want it for adding your baby mother in. Check out this thing. Those of you that are gadget nerds, it's a thermometer, 95, 93. It's fantastic. It has like a little readout. You can see how hot I am. I'm 96. 86, 88, 90, 89. Okay, perfect. We're going to put our mother and our baby into the tea. And I'm just going to top it off. I'm going to use all of that. Just a little bit of the original batch to kind of acidify that tea and get everything started. So you can, if you're particular, you can kind of unfold your SCOBY so it creates a nice even top or not. It really does not matter one way or another, but it will grow a new one and will cover the whole top of this. Now, the most important thing with your SCOBY is to cover it. This is just a piece of cheesecloth, a muslin, an old pillowcase, a piece of t-shirt, coffee filter, whatever you have. And you just want to have a rubber band or a ribbon or something that seals it really tight, because everything loves kombucha, so it will get in there and lay its babies, and you don't want that. That's gross. Back on the counter for a week to 2 weeks. Now, if it's really, really hot, you can start checking it after 5 or 6 days. And if you like it sweeter and it gets to the point where the acidity and the sugar levels are to your liking, that's ready for a second ferment. Or you can just strain it off and drink it straight away, bottle it just as it is. All right, so because this guy got such a a small little bit, I'm just going to add the rest of this in there. You know, maybe I'll just do this. And then we'll have a nice fizzy kombucha, so I can get it right up to the top. And this I'll drink. Okay, so that's more ideal. So when you're ready to bottle your kombucha, you just take the contents of your second ferment and pour it into a strainer and get all of the solids out. This will capture all those weird little yeasties and the fruit, and I like to press down on the fruit and get the juice out. You just pour it into your sterilized, clean jars. And you want to fill them up to the top if you can. That will just allow for more carbonation. So at this point, your kombucha is ready to drink. This is ready to go. If you refrigerate it as is for 4 or 5 days, it will just continue to get a little more acidic and a little more fermented and have more carbonation. So it gets better sitting in the refrigerator even after you've strained everything off. It's so delicious. The only residual sugars that remain really are from the fruit, because it's been fermented so long that it's acidified all of the sugar. It's really refreshing, really beautiful, and it's probiotic, so it's really good for all of our gut flowers, our little gut bugs. So cheers. I hope you enjoyed learning about kombucha. You can buy kombucha starter kits in the store. I just saw them the other day down at Mother's Marketplace here in Hood River. You can also, if you're part of Facebook, you can join a group called Wild Fermentation. And in that group, there is a notice board, and there are people that are willing to ship you one of their babies, a kombucha mother. And usually you'll just have to pay for the postage. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.